Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Hi, Sarah. Good morning. Trust our days has kicked off great. Hi, Philip. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, awesome. Awesome. I think I mentioned this on the first day that I would prefer that you just refer to me as Abiola, just by my first name, right? So that way it makes it easier to converse and all of that. Okay.
Good morning, Abiola.
Yeah. Good morning. Okay, so we'll start in the next 5 minutes. Kindly reach out to your colleagues that are supposed to be here, right? So that we can kick off a little bit early today.
Can hear you. Good morning.
Also, I think I mentioned this on the first day that before that you just refer to it as Abiola, just back and forth with the so that way it makes it easier to converse with all of that.
Come again.
Okay, so I will start in the next 5 minutes. Kindly reach out to the start.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Once again, can you all hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Awesome.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Marianne. Thank you, Philip. So please just confirm you can see my screen. Can you quickly
Yes,
confirm you
can
can see?
see your screen.
All right. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Before we proceed into today's class proper, right? I gave out an assignment yesterday on breaking down NIPOS services into the project life cycle. Okay. So, can you, because we don't have much time, right? I would ask that just send that into the chat, right? And then we begin today's class. Okay. So please go ahead and send it into the chat as we begin today's class, right? So, when we began this session on Monday, right, I had mentioned that we will be taking a look at project management and product management, right? Unfortunately, because we didn't have much time from Monday up until yesterday, we have been taking a look at an introduction basically into project management. So today, we are going to start with product management. Okay. During the discussion, taking a look at how the discussion went yesterday, there was something I had failed to, bring up in terms of when we were discussing, the unique selling point, right? I know, I don't know if he's here right now, but Oluwatai had raised a point about pricing. Okay, he's here. I can see him. A point about pricing being a unique selling point for NIPOST, in comparison to other logistic service providers, so to speak, right? Yeah. So while that in itself is a great point, right? I would like to point out a unique selling point or a commodity that a lot of we Nigerians tend to take lightly or take with levity, right? And that is the commodity of trust. Okay, the commodity of trust, right? I'm sure a lot of people here, have a lot of service providers or businesses that they deal with out of trust, right? Everybody, as a man, right, you go to the salon to barb to get a haircut, right? And you have a singular person that you always go to, or that you always go for every single time that you go there. You go there out of trust, out of repeated experience, because you trust the service that that person is providing. Right. Same thing with the women as well, whoever helps you make your hair, makeup, or what have you. Right. You go there out of trust, repeated experience. Right. So that commodity is a major commodity at the moment, which a lot of Nigerians are just waking up to, right? And that's why you see different fintechs springing up and trying to basically fight for the customers' attention and trust, right? So while pricing in itself can be a unique selling point, right? It doesn't regardless of how low your pricing is, right? If a customer doesn't trust you, they won't bring their money to you. Right? So trust is a huge commodity in the world today. Okay. So it's not just limited to Nigeria, right? Other businesses also have to basically fight for the customer's trust, regardless of the geographical boundaries. All right. So trust is something, and trust, as I'm sure you know, out of repeated your hearings and all of that, is something that you build over time, right? And for those who in the marketing department, they will know that the best form of marketing is word of mouth through referrals, right? So if I use your service and I'm not satisfied, I'll tell people about it. if I use a service and I'm extremely satisfied, or I'm satisfied, I'll still tell people about it. Right? So trust is a major commodity. Right? So I would like everybody to take note of that. Okay. So let's deep dive into product management. Okay. Now, during this class, you're going to be hearing a lot of similar things that we've discussed in project management, but in product management, they're a bit different, right? Please do not fret. We're also going to be taking a look at the difference between project management, product management, as well as operations, right? Because some of the tasks get repetitive so much that we are not able to look at the roles and responsibilities of the operations manager, the project manager, and the product manager. All right. So okay, and please, just as a reminder for those who are just joining, right, we had an assignment yesterday. Okay, so as we are discussing, kindly send in your answers into the chat. Okay. All right, so what is product management? Right. Product management involves strategically developing, marketing, and enhancing products and services through their life cycle, right? Now, like we did with project management, we are going to take a look at every single word that needs to be digested in this definition, right? Now, unlike project management, right? We've said here that product management involves strategically developing, right? While a lot of people might look at project management as something that has a start to finish, product management, on the other hand, involves you constantly, strategically improving on what you have built, right? So you're strategically developing, you've started from scratch, you've built up a service or a product, right? And then you are constantly thinking of ways to improve on it, right? Let's look at the EMS, Express Mail Service, as an example of a product. It is a product, right? So let's look at it as an example of a product in this thing now, right? So yesterday we had taken a look at taking a look about around how we can basically improve in terms of quality and quality assurance and all of that, right? But let's strategically look at it this morning. Okay. Now, how do we already have a service, right? And we're trying to improve on it. Okay. How do we get that done? Now, I don't know if someone would want to enlighten me on if there is the pickup and the delivery options with the EMS. Hello? Can everybody hear me?
Okay. Am I audible?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay. EMS does not offer pickup services. The whatever you want to send is being brought to the EMS acceptance counter where you will send your item. Then for delivery, for parcels, the delivery is also made at the counter. The addressee or the recipient of the item will come and pick his or her item on the counter. For
Okay.
similar thing goes for documents too, but there are some exceptions in which we further go extra mile to deliver some time-sensitive documents, especially to some VIPs and other important personnel. That is the way it is being done for EMS. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Quick follow-up question, right? Is there a reason why pickup is not one of the service being rendered. But obviously, it's probably born out of experience. But I want to hear from you directly. Like, is there a reason for that? Hello. Does anybody want to answer my question? Okay. While I wait for that answer, I'll just forge ahead basically. Okay. So now we already have EMS, like Tyler has explained to us how it works, right? And we were basically looking at how to improve on the service, right? I'm guessing the EMS is the fastest delivery option available with NIPOST, right? So now we've basically seen that okay, a lot of people would want to pick up the pace in the delivery of their items or their packages, right? Now, and we are looking at how to basically ease the life of our customers. Okay. Now, and then we've sat down, we've done a little bit of research, right? And we are thinking, what next do we do? And from the data that we've collected, basically, from asking questions from the customers, right? A lot of them are suggesting what? Pickup. So not just delivery, right? So as a product manager, right, it's your job basically to constantly look at how to improve on every single product that you have under you, right? And I mentioned this yesterday, right? And I don't want it to be lost in translation in any way, right? And to build your product around your customer. That means you are basically approaching your product customer centric with the customer at the center, right? So now we've said first thing is strategically developing, right? You have to strategically look at every single area of your product as in product management. Strategically look at every single one of it, how it complements one another, right? And how you can continually improve on it. That's the first one. Next one is marketing, right? The reason why marketing is here is because, like I mentioned, we are building in product management, you are basically building a product around your customers, right? Which means, as a product manager, you are constantly working with basically every department that is involved with the customer, including marketing, right? Now, a lot of us know that in marketing, right, basically telling in telling the customers about a product or a service, right, the marketing team is also gathering feedback on how the customers are perceiving the product, what their dislikes are in the product, what they want more in the product, what they are looking forward to in your roadmap, and all of that, right? So that's why it's important. That's why marketing is an integral part of product management. It doesn't mean that you, as a product manager, should be the one doing the marketing, but virtually every single data, every single information that the marketing team is cleaning from the market is what you want to work with as a product manager. That's why it's an integral part of product management, right? And then finally, we have enhancing products and services throughout their life cycle, right? Now, yesterday we discussed the project management life cycle. Today we're also going to discuss the product life cycle, right? Now, in project management, right, we have, let me take this together. We have 4 stages of a product's life cycle. Please confirm that you can still see my screen. I didn't get that.
Yes, we can. Yes,
Yes,
Okay.
we
Okay.
can.
So
Yes, we can.
okay, awesome. Thank you very much. So in relation to the product management definition, right? As a product manager, you are responsible for enhancing your product or your service throughout the product life cycle. Now, here is the product life cycle, which is the introduction, the growth, the maturity, and the decline, right? Every single product goes through these stages, right? Regardless of if it's a service, if it's a hardware, software, mobile app, and what have you, right? Now, let me break it down a little bit further, okay? The introduction, right? The introduction stage of the product life cycle basically consists of, the whole process of product discovery. That's when you discover the product or the service, right? Like, okay, I think this would be something that a lot of people would want to use. This is something that a lot of people would want to experience, right? Product discovery, product development, right? And basically your first launch. That's what that stage covers, right? Your first launch in terms of you are introducing it, the product basically gets to the market, right? Now, let's use one of the examples that we used yesterday. Okay, that's let's look at
I need to follow you. You don't.
what's that? So basically, let's look at the medical logistics aimed at the medical industry, right? Now, you've done your research, you've built the product, you've identified who your customers are, right? All this whole process falls within the confines of the introduction stage of the product life cycle, right? Now, next is the growth stage, right? And at the growth stage is where you now start acquiring customers, right? And remember, in the definition of product management, we've said that as you are, product management is responsible for enhancing a product or a service throughout its life cycle, which means that at any stage of this product life cycle, as the product manager, you are constantly thinking of how to improve on this product. All right. Now you've gotten to the growth stage, you've started having the product delivered to several customers nationwide, several hospitals, and all of that, right? And they've started making use of your product, right? However, you've not covered the entirety of the market, right? That is what the growth stage signifies, right? At the maturity stage, right? That is when maturity is still a part of the growth stage, but it's still a standalone on its own, because that is when you've basically covered every aspect of the market and they're already using your product. Okay, now you've conquered the federal hospitals, state hospitals, public hospitals, the health centers, and all of that, as well as the private hospitals. And then you've also conquered the clinics. In this case, remember, we're using the example of the medical logistics service, right? Now, you've gotten all of that. It means that there are no more new customers in the market. You already have every one of them in your pocket and all of that, right? That's the maturity stage. Now, the reason why it's important to know what stage your product is at is as the what stage of the life cycle your product is at as the product manager, as a product manager, is because this will help you make a lot of informed decision, right? Now, as an example, we're already in the maturity stage with this medical logistics service, right? We already have every nook and corner of Nigeria covered, and they're using our product. Okay, no one new customer again. What do we do then? Right, lots of options are available, which is, do we double down and start upselling or downselling our customers in terms of, okay, you can use this other of our services, you can use this other of our services, right? Basically introducing them to new products and what have you, right? That's option one. Option two is to identify a new market because you have already saturated the market, which then leads you to looking at neighboring countries of which you can now extend your products into. Okay, now that is the third stage of the product life cycle. And then the final stage of the product life cycle is the decline stage, right? At this stage, like I mentioned, every product or service goes through these 4 stages, right? And at the decline stage is when you start losing customers, or customers start losing interest in your product. Okay, now this could be as a result of you continuing with an outdated service, or there being a new competitor who is offering better services, right? This could be for a whole lot of reasons, and perhaps in the what's it called, in the private sector, it could be as a result of a merger, or basically selling the product out. Okay, so these are the various stages of the product life cycle. All right, now before we take a look at the importance of managing the product life cycle, are there any questions?
Abiola, please, I would like to know if our assignments have been submitted.
No, I've not seen. I had asked that everybody send in the assignments to the group, but I'm not seeing anything to the group chat.
I've sent in mine. That's why I want to confirm if you've seen it.
I've not seen it. Did you send it to me directly via DM?
Maybe.
Please check the name on where you sent it to.
It's your
I
name
think he
written
sent
on
it to
it.
the chat. He sent it to chat. I have seen it on the chat. He sent it to
Okay.
the group chat. So I was not directed to you. So
Okay,
it's
so
a
like
direct message
the
to
WhatsApp,
everybody. No,
is it?
to this chat, to the Zoom chat. But it was on the, that is Oyema Moses, right?
Yes, from corporate communications, yes.
On corporate communication. Yes, I have seen it.
I can't see it. That's strange.
Okay,
I'm
let
look-
me. Okay, I think he did do it to you. He did it to me. He did it to
Oh,
me.
okay.
Yeah,
Exactly.
so I think I will redirect it to you.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, thank you very much, Moses, on that. Right. Okay. We're still waiting for others also to send in their assignments. Right. It's this would basically would basically make it evident that you're able to understand and manage the project life cycle. All right. So moving on, the importance of managing the product's life cycle. Right. I had mentioned that knowing what stage of the life cycle that your product is helps you to understand the actions that you need to take, right? So the first one is maximizing product profitability and longevity, right? I had made an example earlier of, let's say, you've reached the maturity stage, right? At that point, as a product manager, you see that there are no new customers in your geographical location, right? So you start thinking of expansion or selling other of your services to your already existing customers, right? So here that would help you make the product life cycle, like the the timelines, right? It will help you to further push the decline stage into the future, right? That's one. Two, it helps you to also make more money as you're conquering more geographical locations, right? You are able to get more profit for the organization. Okay. Next is guides resource allocation and strategic decision making, right? In this instance, you are able to look at what resources you have at each stage, or what resources that you are going to need, right, at each stage, right? Because the same resources that you are going to need at the introduction are not necessarily the same resources you are going to need at the growth, right? So you need to be able to know how to what resources you need and how to allocate them at each stage of the product life cycle, right? Because when you are looking at maturity, right, and downselling, at that point, either you are going to be looking towards, more marketing personnels, more operations personnels, if it's a service that involves a lot of face-to-face conversations and all of that, right? So you'll be able to, properly allocate your resources, right? And then you'll be able to make strategic decisions as well. Okay. So let's say you've introduced your product to the market, right? And then you are getting feedback of more add-ons that the people who are using your product would need, right? So let's say, for instance, now, still the same medical service logistics, right? Let's say you're using a fridge that the battery lasts about 5 hours max, right? And you keep getting complaints that the longevity of the battery needs to be improved on, right? At the growth stage, then because you are, constantly collecting feedback from your customers, you're able to make strategic decision on increasing the battery life, right? So you can be looking at 10 to 15 hours and all of that, right? You're able to make constant strategic decision making so far as you know what stage of the product life cycle that you are, right? Another thing is it helps in identifying opportunities for innovation and product evolution, right? So now you see that let's use the maturity stage as an example here, right? You see that you've already sold out to every possible person that you can sell out to within the confines of a geographical location, right? And you start thinking, instead of just using one particular what's it called, one particular cooler, right, that can only take one item or one package at the same time, how about we start looking at making it bigger, right? This way your product starts to evolve, right, and you start to move faster in your delivery process, right? So you start thinking about how to get 3, 4, 5, 6 packages inside the same container, right? Where, obviously, right, they are kept in the needed temperature and all of that, right? And then you are able to constantly evolve and innovate your product, right? Finally, it says enables proactive planning for market changes and disruptions, right? So because you know that you're at the good stage, there's still a lot that you need to do to get to the maturity stage. You are constantly thinking of what might come up, and you are also looking at the pace at which you are going, right? And then you are able to say, okay, in the next 5, 6 years, if we continually grow at this 20% that we are on market acquisition, right, we'll be able to get to maturity stage and all of that, right? So that leads us to the end of the product life cycle. Any questions? No questions. All right. Then we'll go over to stakeholder management then. Can you see my screen? Can you see my screen? Hello? Just a thumbs up or a yes in the chat.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay, thank you very much.
We can see.
All right. Now, during the course of conversation yesterday, we had discussed stakeholder management, all right, as part of project management. And I said earlier in this call that product management and project management, we are going to be seeing a lot of similar terms, right? And then, like I said, do not fret, right? We are going to be basically discussing the differences and all of that, right? So yesterday I had mentioned that a stakeholder is anyone who impacts or is impacted by a product, a project, or a service, right? Now that still holds, that's still basically the meaning, right? But here we can look at them as customers, your internal teams, executives, investors, and partners, right? These are all stakeholders in whatever product that you're building, right? And why is it important to be able to manage your stakeholders, right? Number one, because their decisions, because they can influence decisions and outcomes, right? A very good example is your investors, right? Anyone who's dealt with investors before would understand the importance of keeping them in the loop in various conversations, right? Because investors are basically the ones giving you the money for whatever it is that you're building, right? Or in this case, right, for NIPOS would be the federal government, right? Because they are basically they are the ones investing in NIPOS, right? So the federal government can influence product decisions and outcomes, right? Which is very important. Which is why it's very important that you're able to manage them, right? When you properly manage your stakeholders, right, it fosters collaboration and alignment, right? Someone's unmuted.
Yes, someone asked a question from the chat. Toyi Alakoja, that is the Deputy Director, Stamp Authentication. He asks that, please, sir, can we use one of our product as an example? Thank you.
In what context? So please, when you are sending in messages, right, please make sure that you're sending it to meeting group chat, right? Don't send to individuals or to the host directly, right? So please make sure that you're sending it to the meeting group chat, okay? That way I'll be able to see it and I'll respond to it on time, right? So please, I would need more context in when you say, can I use one of your products? Was it when I was explaining the product life cycle? We can hear you, Akiremi Falakemi Aina.
Yes, sir. That's me, sir.
Is it afternoon yet? Okay, it's almost afternoon. Good morning.
Almost afternoon. Morning, sir. Yes, sir. Sorry,
Okay, so
just
please go
joining.
ahead.
The network of my side is very bad. I'm just joining.
But you were the one that sent in the message to say that we need, like, we should make use
No,
of
it's a
your.
mistake.
Oh, okay. Okay.
No,
Okay.
it's a mistake.
No problem. No problem, sir. All right. All right. So we can continue then. Right. So let me meet you. All right, so we are discussing stakeholder management, right? Now, on the second point, which is fostering collaboration and alignment, right? Now, we've identified that your executives, the executives of NIPOST, are also part of the stakeholders, right? Now, carrying them along in whatever decision you are making, be you a team lead or what have you, right? We constantly foster collaboration and alignment, right? And because there's a lot of departments, there are lots of different decisions being taken, right? You don't want a situation where two departments are working on the same team at the same time, which should basically be a waste of resource, right? So to foster collaboration and alignment, it is expedient that you carry your stakeholders along, right? Next is engaging stakeholders early can prevent misunderstanding and conflicts, right? Still boils down to the whole collaboration, right, and alignment. So to avoid conflicts, conflict of interest or what have you, right? Carrying your stakeholders, not just the executives in this point, right? Your investors, your partners, internal teams, right? Carrying them along would help you avoid misunderstanding and conflicts, right? And then satisfying stakeholder needs to stakeholder needs leads to greater product adoption and success, right? Now, the aim of every product manager is to satisfy all the stakeholders, right? Now, to do that, you need to be able to identify them, right? And obviously, the customers, if you are not able to satisfy the customers, you've gotten it wrong. If your team, your immediate team that you are working with is not happy with you, you've not been able to satisfy them, you have gotten it wrong. If your executives are not happy with you, you might not even be able to get your product off the ground. Same thing with your internal team. If your investors are not happy with you, then you won't even in the first place have money to be able to get your product out there, right? Same thing with your partners, right? So satisfying your stakeholder needs is important for greater product adoption and success as a product manager. All right. Now, there is a chart for stakeholder management where you have 4 quadrants, right? And in these 4 quadrants, you have to constantly be able to tell at each junction, right? Each quadrant, first quadrant can be people that you just need to inform who are your stakeholders. Second quadrant is people who you need permission from, right? Third one is people that you need permission from, right? But you also need to inform, right? And then the fourth one is people that just have like minimal interest in what you are doing, right? So you need to be able to segregate every stakeholder into this quadrants, right? And then as the need be, if you need to seek their permission first, right, proceed and do that. If you need to inform them, if it's inform and seek permission and all of that, right, you need to be able to recognize all of that and proceed accordingly. All right. All right, no messages. Okay, next is approach to product management, right? Approach to product management. I've constantly said this, right? And the which is the need for you to build your product around your customers, right? And the first thing I always say in this segment is, if you build something that people don't need, what was the essence of building it in the first place? Right. So let me give you an example. I believe everybody here is quite advanced, and they were here. Everybody was here at the beginning of the Android mobile phone age, right? At the Android mobile phone age. There was this app that we used to use then. It's called Flash Share. Does everybody remember it? Anybody?
Yes, I remember Flash.
Remember Flash Share? Any other person? It's a file sharing application that makes use of Wi-Fi, right? So instead of using Bluetooth, which was the in thing before Android, right? We started using Flash Share, which connects Wi-Fi to Wi-Fi, and then you are able to instantly share files together, be it applications, music, videos, or what have you, right? Now, FlashShare came into the market and they were the in thing. Like every single person that was using Android had FlashShare on their phone, right? But like 4 or 5 years later, something happened. A new file sharing, Wi-Fi file sharing app came into being, and that was Zenda, right? And Zenda constantly made updates and pushed updates in terms of user experience, in terms of making it easy for people to be able to update their own Zenda without connecting to the internet, right? And constantly making improvements based off of research, right? Now, FlashShare, because for a long time they didn't have competitor, they were relaxed and they failed to constantly build improvements around their customer needs. And over time, they faded away. Okay. This is the exact reason why, as a product manager, it is extremely important that your product be customer centric. Always use the approach of customer first. Right? Now, let me give you an example. Okay. Let's use the EMS. Right? So, I'm a businessman in this instance, right? I'm a businessman. I have to get on a flight out of the country in the next 5 hours. And I have a parcel that I need delivered in another state. Right? Now, I have several options. I have the EMS. I have, let's call it ABC Logistics Service, right? Remember, I've put in a variable here, which is I have a flight to catch in 5 hours, right? That means I cannot luxuriously move around. Okay? Now, I call on NIPOS to tell me, we can get it done. You just have to come to our office. Our EMS service is the fastest, right? And the price is great, very small amount. Chicken in money, your parcel is already on its way. And I ask, can't you come and pick it up? And I say, no, that's not the service we offer, right? And then I call ABC Logistics, right? I call ABC Logistics and I tell them same thing. They're like, okay, for an extra amount of so amount, right? We'll come up to your house, pick it up, and then we deliver it. Now, as a businessman, consider all the variables that I've mentioned, right? Which is I have to catch my flight in the next 5 hours. As a businessman, which option do you think I'll go with?
ABC, of course.
ABC, of course, right? Because ABC has basically built their service around the users. They build their services around me, understanding that I might not, or I will not have the luxury of going down to their office to go and drop a package that needs to be delivered. Right? So this points to the importance of constantly looking at how to make your customers what more comfortable with you, how to make your service ease to use, ease your customers basically. Okay, now excuse me just a second. Excuse me. Right, so now what are the benefits? Like how do you make an approach to being customer centric as a product manager? Right, number one is ensure product addresses real customer pain points and deliver value. Right, sorry, before we move on to this, right, when we started this call, I had mentioned that I think Tayo had been so kind to provide us with one of the USP of NIPOST being pricing, right? Great price for cost. Right? But the scenario I had explained earlier, right? Pricing was not the problem for me, right? As the customer, pricing was not the problem for me, right? So, but please, right, just take note of that, okay? Now, moving on, ensuring product address real customer pain points and deliver value, right? Going back to that same example, right? My pain point was I need pickup and delivery, not just delivery as a customer, right? And I would constantly choose what as a customer. Obviously, as a customer, I will constantly choose what addresses my need, right? So when you're building a product, always make sure that it addresses real customer pain points and deliver value, right? Next is to constantly make sure that your customer is satisfied and to win their loyalty, right? Excuse me. Now let me use an example that let's take it a little bit outside, just this one's outside the logistic industry, right? There are a lot of products out there, right? And which every one of us here is also a customer. Okay, like we're a customer to other businesses and all of that, right? Now, there are some products that come sun, come rain, we will always buy that product over the others, regardless of the pricing, right? Now, a lot of people, for those who take Fitz, I think it's called Fitz drink or what have you, right? The likes of Pepsi, Coca-Cola, and what have you, right? A lot of people would always pick Coca-Cola over others. Me, myself, I'm more of a Pepsi person, right? Because it basically satisfies my need, right? A lot of people will always pick Coca-Cola and so on and so forth, right? But because it satisfies my need, right? I'll show loyalty back to Pepsi by constantly purchasing it, right? So another point in customer centric is ensuring and enhancing customer satisfaction, and that would always bring about loyalty. All right. Next is being customer centric always helps to drive innovation and differentiation in competitive markets, right? Because you have the customer as the center of what you are building, right? You are always able to drive innovation and evolve your product to constantly satisfy the customer, right? You are able to always innovate based on you are constantly getting data from your customer, which is now informing on how you are evolving your product in the market, right? And because you are constantly evolving your product to constantly satisfy the customer, right, it leads to you being the differentiation in the market. The logistics industry is already a competitive market as it is, because every single day you keep seeing new logistics companies coming up, bikes that are mostly, sometimes they are usually like state by state, like in a state or what have you, but constantly you keep seeing these logistics companies coming up. Right? So if you are able to achieve a customer-centric approach in your product, right, you are able to continually innovate, improve on your product, and then be the product that other products want to be like, right? And finally, being customer centric leads to long-term business success, right? And profitability, obviously, because we are constantly improving, and as you are improving, you are even able to increase what you are charging, right? Because it's satisfying and it's hitting every nail on the head in the customer's need. Okay. Now, do you have any questions? Any questions so far? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. No question from my end.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. All right then. So let's go over to differences. All right. From our conversation so far, you would see that a lot of what we had discussed in project management, we also discussed in product management. Right. So there's a lot of similarities between the two. Right. So let's start with product management. Okay. The first difference is in terms of focus. Right? Product management largely and hugely focuses on products and services. Right? That's what product management focuses on majorly. Okay? And if you had noticed the project lifecycle and the product lifecycle, you would have seen another huge difference, which is in the time frame, right? A project can last as long as 3-4 years, right? But for a product, it can take way longer. All right. Now, let's use an example, right? Now, in this instance, right, I'll use delivery in NIPOS as a project, right? So bear with me, right? And at the end of this explanation, it will make much more sense. Okay. Now, delivery as a project. Person A comes to NIPOS and says, I want to deliver a package in Kaduna. Right. Now let's take that as a project. Okay. The project is delivering from Lagos to Kaduna. All right. Now we start the process of onboarding the person, taking the information about the whole what's it called? The whole package, more information, the condition, and all of that, right? you guys have better information about that. After we receive that, then we go into the planning phase of, okay, this is the route it's going to follow because it's expected to be delivered in 24 hours or what have you. This is the route we are going to follow. These are the mediums we are going to take and all of that. Then you proceed into the planning phase, right? After you've planned, you start executing, right? And the parcel hits the road, right? As the parcel is hitting the road, you continue to monitor and control the quality, right? And once it gets to the destination and the final delivery place, the project ends. Okay, that's the time frame for a project, right? However, right, we've said that aside, we've said the focus is on product and services for product management, right? Now, time frame for product management is in terms of the products that would help us to achieve these minor projects, right? That's the products that will help us to achieve these minor projects, like the EMS itself, right? We are the first stage of what's it called? The product life cycle is we are introducing the product. Remember, in the introduction, it goes into the whole product discovery, product development, getting an MVP ready, and then introducing it to the market, right? And it basically covers how all these other minor projects should be handled. Okay, so that's why the time frame for product management can be longer, because a product can last up to 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. Some products even span across lifetimes, right? I made mention of the example of Coca-Cola earlier. Coca-Cola is a product and it lasts at least 3-4 generations now, right? Same recipe and all of that. So its bottling and services has changed over the time, but as a product, it's still been basically the same thing, right? So that's where product management differs in time frame. Okay. Now, the difference in project management, how it differs from product management is once you attain the set objectives, you are done with the project. The objective is to build a road. Once you have built the road, you are done. There's no coming back to think, and let's build a car park. That car park in itself is another project. Okay. Next is it helps to it differs in terms of it creates its own character, organization, and goals, right? Still relating to once you have the objectives, you've achieved it, you are done. Okay. After that is a catalyst for change, right? A project, once initiated, always brings about a change, right? Let's use the example of a road construction. Okay. Let's use the example of a road construction, right? No road before, potholes and all of that in the route, right? And once it's constructed, right, it brings about a change, right? That's another difference in project management. A project can create unique products and services. A project can create unique products and services, right? Now, a project can also be like one of the goals of a project can be to create a product or a service, right? And once that project, once you are done with creation of the product or the service, right, product management now kicks in. Right? Next is heterogeneous teams, right? In product management, in project management, rather, excuse me, in project management, right? Today you can be working with a team of construction staff, right? And on the next project you are doing, you are working on a completely different, set of individuals with new set of skills, perhaps building a borehole or what have you. Okay, that's another difference, right? And finally, in the initiation of a project, right, you always have a start and end date. You will always have a start and end date, right? For a product, you don't have you have a start date, right? But until you have gotten to the decline stage, and understand this, please, your decline stage in a product can even last up to 5, 6, 7, 8 years, right? So that there is another difference in project management from product management. Okay. Now, let's take a look at the difference from project management and product management from operations. Okay. Number one of the main objective of operations, right, is to sustain a business, to keep the business running, right? As for operations. Next thing is the semi permanent charter for organizations or goals, right? In terms of the operations can change a little bit, right? But the way the guidelines or what have you would always constantly be the same, right? And that also speaks to the next point, which is to maintain status quo, right? Operations basically is a standard for every product and services, right? Because you are constantly running it to make sure that you are able to continually deliver the value that you are delivering. Question? Hello? Any questions? All right. Next is homogeneous team, right? In operations, you are constantly working with the same team. Okay? You are constantly working with the same team, right? Or rather, you are constantly working with the same role. The person or the people might change, but you require a certain the same set of skills in operations. All right. And finally, it's constant, ongoing. Okay, it's always ongoing. It always has to be work done. Right. Any question? Any questions so far? Hello. Okay, yes, I can hear you.
Hello.
I can hear you.
Okay. Good day, sir.
Good day, sir.
Please, what is the difference between to sustain business or an ongoing? What is the difference in in operations?
In operations, right? Okay.
Yes.
So, like I mentioned, right? Operations is
Yes.
always ongoing in terms of you always have to do what you are doing constantly to be able to keep the light on. All right. Operations, that's what operations is basically, right? You always have to continually do what you're doing, right? Now, as part of operations, right? you need to constantly make sure that there's someone at the front desk, right, to receive parcel, right, who then passes it on, right, the chain of process basically to how it's supposed to go on and on, right. That is ongoing, right. Now, ongoing related to constantly sustain the business. Okay. Excuse me, just a second. Okay, sorry, I'm back. So, to constantly sustain the business, right, you need basically all these things to be in motion, all right? You need them to, it's already ongoing, right? And that in itself continually makes the business to stand, okay? So, I'm constantly at the front desk receiving parcels that goes on to the next stage, on and on like that, right? Any day I'm not there, that breaks down, right? And then the business is not able to keep the lights on. Or any day anybody's not there, the business is not able to keep the lights on, right? And that doesn't sustain the business, right? So that's how it's basically the same thing in terms of, but it's different in terms of looking at the bigger picture, right? Once there is a break in the operations process, right, it affects sustainability for the business. Does that make sense? Abayomi, Ivan.
Yes.
Yeah. So sustainability is on a wider range, right? While ongoing is to keep is at a lower range, basically. Okay. All right. So next we are going to be taking market research and analysis. All right. Now we've been talking gathering market research, we've been talking data, we've been talking about all of these things, right? And their importance, right? But let's take a look at them. Hello. Hello, Mibwala. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. You're muted.
I'm
Are you
muted.
trying
Oh.
to?
I'm
No,
muted. I'm muted.
you unmuted, then muted again.
Oh,
Mm.
sorry about it.
No, not a problem. I thought you wanted to ask a question, so that's why. Right. Okay, so now market research, right? As a product manager or as a project manager, market research is a skill that is extremely important, so much so that if it's not conducted well, you are basically doomed to fail right from start. All right. So now market research and analysis, right? At its basis, it involves the gathering, analyzing, and interpreting of information about a market, right? And major trends in this market research, or things that you will be looking at, includes like the size, trends, competition, and the customer preferences, right? Now, as NIPOST, right? As NIPOST, let's just quickly conduct this exercise. Why do you think it's important for you to research your market and to analyze it? My apologies for the noise in my background, please. as an iPost.
Basically, I think we research to improve our products and services.
To improve products and services. Okay. Okay.
I guess to also know how customers react to our products and services, and the areas they are not satisfied, and the areas they appreciate the products and services in the market.
Okay. 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 All right. Any other contribution? Any other contribution at all? How about to see how the customers are using your products and services, so to speak? Can you hear me? How about to see how the customers are using your products and services? Right. So, because I've been in the fintech industry for a while, right? I've gotten to meet a lot of all these bank managers and what have you, right? And discussing with one of them one day, and someone from Zenith Bank who was responsible for onboarding 70% of he was responsible for us, right? And achieve this, right? And he said, and because for normal clothes, and after the marketing team had done their job of broadcasting, go to the bank, get your ATM card and all of that, right? Lots of customers were trooping to bank branches, and daily they could not get their ATM cards, right? And he said what he did was very simple, right? He took the initiative of going around all the banks as a customer, right? Going around all the banks, and the moment he gets in, he would say he wants to get an ATM card. They'll just direct him to go and stand in one place and all of that. And as he got there, he would see other fellow customers, so to speak, trying to get their own ATM cards, but they would spend 2, 3, 4, 5 hours in the bank without being attended to, right? And after spending 4 or 5 hours, they will turn and leave and home again because they will see adverts, come to the bank and come and collect ATM cards, right? So after he had, can everybody hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, thank you. So after he had noticed that pattern for a while, right, what he started doing after spending 2 hours I will share the screen. Don't worry, sir. Don't worry, sir. Just listen to what I'm saying, and then we would continue with sharing the screen. Okay. So after he had spent an hour, 2 hours in the bank, he would then approach the customer care desk, bring out his card, identify him as the himself as the regional manager, right, and get them to start onboarding these people for the ATM card, right? And after doing that for a while, he realized that would mean that he would have to keep going back every day, right? So to tackle this, right, basically what he did, very simple, right? Worked with his team to ensure that at every single branch, they employed 2 more people to handle ATM card onboarding, right? Because obviously the people that are working in the bank, they had the whole heavy load of customer attending to customer already existing issues, and they never bothered to look at ATM card onboarding, right? So he employed 2 more people to basically take care of that. Now, why am I saying this, right? If he had not gone into the market responding to customers' queries in terms of, you keep telling us to go to the bank, and at the end of the day, we don't get our ATM cards, he would not have seen the problem. But the moment he went there, he saw the problem, identified it, and he was able to solve it. All right. So that is why it's extremely important that as a product manager, not just as a product manager, as a manager or whatever it is that you're doing, research. Now, please understand, research doesn't just limit to, going to talk people what have you. It involves asking the right questions as well. Okay, asking the what, the why, the when, the where, asking the right questions. Okay, so now, can you see my screen?
Yes, please.
Can you see my screen now? Okay, awesome. So let's research. All right. The first one is exploratory research, right? Now, this kind of research, right? Sorry, give me a second. Let me quickly attend to something. All right. So, forgive me. Exploratory research, as we're saying, right? This kind of research is a research that is conducted usually at the beginning of starting any product or service, right? And not just that, right? It's also a research that is conducted when you don't have a clear conception of what it is that you're researching about, right? That's why it's called exploratory. We are basically exploring, right? Now, this is the kind of research that I, as a product manager, would conduct if I'm looking at creating a product like the product we've been talking about since. That's the medical industry, medical logistics service, right? I don't know much about it yet. I want to learn more about it. I want to look at all the variables, all the options available. And this kind of research is best approached with a blank mind, right? A tabula rasa, so to speak, right? So from the research, you are able to gain more knowledge, and you're able to know what questions to ask, right? You would agree with me that it's a very broad topic to say I want to build a medical logistics service, right? It's very, very broad topic. Okay. So I would embark on an exploratory research in that instance, right? Because this is what is going to lead me to product discovery, to discover the exact kind of product or service that I want to build, or that I want to improve on. Okay, that's the first one. The second one is a competitive analysis, right? Now, competitive analysis, as the name implies, is basically I have identified the market. I have seen the market, I've looked at it. I want to know who the game players are in this market, right? That's those who already provide this kind of service, right, in this market. And then, now, please understand, right? As much as these techniques are all standalone, these techniques of market research are all standalone, right? They are also chronological, right? So after you must have looked at, must have jumped on your exploratory research in terms of, I have a broad understanding of this particular field. I want to deep dive into it, right? Then you conduct your exploratory research. Now you've deep dive into it, right? And you've done your product discovery in terms of, okay, this is what I want to build, right? Next thing you do is start looking at who are the game players in this market or in this industry, right? So in competitive analysis, you want to look at what these people are currently doing, what they plan to do, what they are doing wrong, what they are doing right as well. Okay, this basically helps you set yourself up for success, because once you've identified what they are doing right, you can also replicate it. Excuse me, just a second. Because, sorry for that, because once you've identified what they are doing right, you can also replicate it. Once you've identified what they are doing wrong, you can improve upon it, and you won't make the same mistakes that they have made, right? That is why in the technological world, we say it's not easy to be the first to market, right? Because if you are the first to market with a product, you are constantly making mistakes. There's no other person that is building that kind of product, which means you are the only one facing the kind of challenges you are facing. You are making mistakes that no other person have made, and you are basically learning as you are going, right? So that's that about competitive analysis. Okay. The next is user insights, right? In user insights, right? So I'll approach this from two angles, right? The first one, for a product that I've not introduced to the market yet, and a product that I have introduced to the market, right? For the product that I have not introduced to the market yet, right? Let's say I want to start a logistics, a statewide network or routes for, in terms of logistics, for NIPOST, right? And obviously it's not been introduced yet, right? So and because this is a new product for NIPOST, I'm looking at how to gain insights of the current users of logistics service in each state, right? So what do I want to do in this instance? In this instance, I want to approach those who currently make use of logistics services, right? Including the logistics service providers themselves, right? I want to be able to approach them to get more insights from them. Like, okay, I saw you using so and so logistics service earlier, right? Say, oh yes, I was trying to send a parcel to the other side of the state. Say, okay, have you used them before? Say, yes, no, yes, I have. Okay, what were the problems that you encountered? I don't like the way the customer spoke to me. Okay, you take that feedback. Okay. It took them 2 days to be able to get a package from one side of the state to another side of the same state, right? Take that feedback, right? So you are constantly getting the actual user insights into how the products or services are being used. Now, that is for a new product, right? Now, for an existing product, it's still basically the same way. But however, it's best for you to talk directly to your customers because you, as an existing product, you already have customers, right? So at this point, I'm moving towards my customers and I'm asking, right? Okay, you've just sent your package to Kaduna, and I saw that from Ojota to Aja, right? And I saw that you were complaining about the last time that you sent a package that something happened to the package or what have you, right? You are getting insights from them, like, okay, so what precisely happened, right? What have you seen us doing that you feel like we can be improved? You are getting user insights in that instance directly from your own customers, right? And what do you do with the insights? You are able to properly augment your services, improve on your services and your products to your customers, right? Now, the next is beta testing, right? Now, beta testing as a technique of market research is usually for either the introduction of a new product or a new feature. Can you still hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Any questions so far? Any questions?
Yes. Please.
Okay. All right.
Go over the beta testing, beta BETA testing. Please, just for your permission, I didn't understand the whole concept of beta testing.
I'm not done with beta testing yet. Sorry. There's a bit of
I
feedback
thought
from
you
your
were
end.
done.
Oh, no. I had just started. I was asking on, what we've discussed in exploratory. Yeah. All right. Okay. So now beta testing, like I said, is either for a new product or a new feature that you are getting ready to introduce to the market. So in beta testing, what you do as a product manager, project manager, or just as a manager in general, right, is you want to get a group of potential users, right, cut across all sectors or all walks of life to be able to test your product before you go to the market and give you their honest response. Okay, you want to be able to test it, right? So let's say now, right, Nipos is introducing a mobile application that is going to let users be able to real time track their packages. Okay, now before it hits the market, your engineering team and your product team has done a wonderful job of creating a beautiful mobile application and all of that, right? Now, before it hits the market, you want an honest opinion from those who will be using the application, because the application obviously is not meant for the engineering team or your product team. It's for the users, right? So you want an honest opinion from your users, hence your beta testing. Okay, so and in the beta testing,
Nothing. Yeah.
so in the beta testing, you want to get a group of people that would test the app. In this instance, test the app, and they'll give you or product or service. They will make use of it, and they will give you their honest opinion about it. Right? Now, finally, segmentation. Segmentation is basically a method of, after you've conducted your research and all of that, is basically, sorry, just a second, please. Okay, sorry, apologies for that. I had to quickly check on my internet device. Okay. All right. So we are on segmentation. Please, can you mute? If you don't have any questions, can you mute yourself? Thank you. And can you switch off your camera as well? Right, because we are sharing the same bandwidth, not bandwidth, so to speak, but it's going to be those who don't have great internet connectivity, right? So please, can you switch off your video? Maybe we still have one more person with their video on. Right. So in terms of market segmentation, right, is a method of dividing your potential markets by one common characteristic that is the method of dividing your potential market into groups, and each group have basically a common characteristic, right, which would make you put them in that group, right? And that way you are able to get different perspectives, right? Different perspective and insights from your potential users, right? I'll give you an example. Okay. Now we have different generations. We have the boomers, we have the millennials, we have the Gen Zs, we have I believe this Gen X that is next after that, right? Now, all this set of different generations, right? Because of their different experiences in life, they experience the same thing differently, right? So, as a in terms of segmentation, you can divide your market by age, right? This way, you are able to get different perspectives of your potential from your potential users, basically, because the expectations of a Gen Z from a mobile app that will enable them track their parcel is different from the expectation of a boomer or a millennial, right? So that's one. Two, it could be in terms of religion. It could be in terms of the industry that they work in, right? It could be in terms of ethnicity, right? That is where market segmentation comes into play. Okay, just basically helping you identify the different groups of people, the different types of people that exist in your markets. Okay, so any questions about that? No questions so far, right? Okay, so hold on just a second. Let me. Now, as a bit of exercise, right? We've seen project management, we've seen product management, right? Can you help me list in the chart right now all the products that NIPOST has as of today? Every single product. Please understand, if there are some that are under NDAs that you cannot disclose, please do not disclose them. All right. But those that you know as a product that exist in NIPOST as of today, can you please list them down? Please make sure that you are sending to meeting group chats and not to an individual.
Unfortunately, Mr. Bella, I think from my own end, I can only send to either the host or the co-host. I can't send to the meeting group. Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, I'm so sorry. For some reason I got kicked out of the meeting. Right. So please, I don't know if any what's it called? Any of the products has been sent into the chat.
Sorry, Mr. Abiola, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, I said for some reasons from my own end, I can only send to either the hosts or the co-hosts. I can't send to the group.
Okay, send to the there's on your screen you should see a button after 2:, right?
Yes,
So
when I
you should
click
be
on the
able to.
colon, I only have the host and the co-host on that.
Okay, so send to either one of us. Send to the co-host. I should be the co-host, right?
Yeah.
So send it to me. I would paste it on the group. Right. So others, please, can you quickly join us in this exercise? I'm still waiting. I've not seen any chat coming at all.
Good afternoon. I've sent some to your chat, Mr. Abiola.
Yes. I'm trying to send them one after the other into this thing now. So you should
Okay.
see them. You should see them coming.
Alright.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. So please confirm you can see that you can see the list of services sent to the general mail. Hello, can anybody confirm that they can see it?
We can see it, sir.
Yes, I can see.
All right. So here's what I want everybody to do. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to send in my email, my direct email to the chat.
I see it too.
Right. Now, I believe these are already existing services, right? So please confirm you can see my email. Everybody, please confirm you can see my email there.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So what I want everybody to do now is on your own volition, right? Pick a particular service that has been dropped in the charts. Okay, and I want you to create a exploratory research document and a competitive analysis for each of the services. Okay, so right. Oh no. I mistakenly sent it to just one person. Okay, so please, I would drop a new email, right? I'll drop a new email now. So please, we'll need you to send it there. Okay. I've dropped the email, right? So please, you are working on an exploratory research and competitive analysis. All right. So please take your time. We would expect everything to be turned in before Friday. All right. We would expect everything to be turned in before Friday. Okay. So please send it to techtrainings@roratech.com. Okay. So pick a singular service. So pick a singular service, just one of it, right? And you know how we discussed it. Conduct an exploratory research. Just basically go about it as if you've not heard of that before, right? And conduct an exploratory research and a competitive analysis, right? Now, your competitor could be an international one, a global one, or what have you, right? So, but just take your time, take a look at it, and please note this is going to be part of the requirement for your certification. Okay, so before immediately after we get in this assignment, right, we would be providing you the Royal Tech team would be providing you with a what's it called, with a lesson note and some brief questions, just so as to confirm that the training was impactful and all of that. So the questions is going to be based off of what we have been learning for the past 3 days, right? So it's going to be basically we're going to provide you with lesson notes and an assessment. All right. Please, what you've learned so far in the last 3 days, if acted upon, or rather when acted upon, would bring about exponential results, right? Trust me, we've implemented this in several organizations, in several services, right? And within 3 months, 4 months of constant, doubling down on this, right, they've been able to basically raise their brands to become more of quality, right, than quantity. Okay, now, like we said yesterday, always understand, right, there's always room for improvement. Always take that to heart when approaching any of what we've learned, right? And have an open mind to change, basically. Okay. Now, that being said, right, I'm well aware that the ICT team is a part of this sessions, right? And as part of our suggestion, basically, to the future of NIPOST, we would ask that the consideration for Web 3.0 be included in the ICT services going forward, right? I'm sure the ICT team is well aware of the benefits and the security that comes with Web 3.0, right? So please kindly take a look at that, right? And at this point, I would like to call the training coordinator in person of Mr. Oludari to take over, right? Thank you for taking out the time in the past 3 days to join us every day, right? And but however, we look forward to seeing more good news in terms of the implementation of what we have talked over in the last 3 days, right? So thank you very much for your time, and we look forward to great things from the NIPOST.
All right. Thank you so much, Abiola. Thank you so much for the great lectures delivered. We are very grateful. Good afternoon, everyone. Can you all hear me?
Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon, sir. Can you hear
Good
you?
afternoon. Good afternoon. It's nice to have you all on the call. How's the training been so far? Can we get some? Okay, go ahead,
It has
sir.
been very educative. It has been very educative.
Fantastic. So I would like each person from each of the units, engineering, ICT, planning, to give us brief insight regarding what we have learned in the course of this training and how we believe we can apply some of these lessons in our different units. Please, I will really appreciate that. So should we start with engineering or planning, ICT? Hello, maybe I should be calling us. Let me start with Aisha. Aisha, are you there? Hello? Hello? Hello, can you hear me? Hello? Do we have anybody from ICT here or engineering? Hello? Hello, Abiola, can you hear me from your own end?
Yes, I can. Loud and clear.
Oh, okay. Hello, can you all hear me? I mean, other people from our people from NIPOS.
Yes, we can hear you.
I can hear you.
Yes. Okay, great. So I said I would like a representative.
Hello.
It could be, yes. Okay, go ahead. You have the floor, ma. Hello, we can hear you. That's Engineer Oladapo Adelakun, right? Hello. Okay. It seems maybe we.
Hello. Hello, can you hear me? I'm Ivan from operations. Well, the lesson was quite explicit and educative.
Oh, great.
Yes, and I think my emphasis was more on the market research and analysis. It made us to realize that, what made me personally to realize that to every product, you need to carry out serious research on your customer base and have a research and analysis on the product you want to carry out. And there are also techniques you need to carry: explorative, comprehensive analysis, as a user insight and beta testing, and segmentation. Whether you don't bring out your segmentation, whether you don't bring out all your products at once, you bring it bit by bit.
Great. That's very interesting. You mentioned something that you don't release all your product features once. I think you just said that, right? Hello?
Yes, I just said that.
Okay, that you don't release them once. That's fine. I'm sure we all know that's one of the things that keeps the likes of Apple, Samsung in business.
Yes.
You will tell you, yes, BlackBerry. You understand? They will tell you they are releasing another one, some features in next year, and that is where the planning comes in. Some features they are going to release in the next 5 years. They already have them in plan. They are already working on them, on those features. So as a team, so we should have even at the different units, we should have a plan. Oh, this is our unit. what are the services we can also bring on board that can make our customer to have to enjoy excellent services that can take our organization as a whole to higher level. Internally within your team, you can have that plan, both short and long time plans, and you can start working on them. And we see that we are busy, and we are not only busy, but we are adding value not only to ourselves but to the organization. You may have it in your plan that, oh, in the next 3 years or 2 years, our unit should be able to. I remember when I came to Abuja to train the ICT team, the director of IT and the special assistant to the PMG were told the team members that the skills that you have will go a long way. Even when you are no more with the organization, or when you are still with the organization, those skills will be asset to you, invaluable, which is true. So I recall that we had a very good we had great conversation regarding that aspect. So, and it is good we plan ourselves strategically, have that plan. Oh, this is what we can do in our unit to improve on our services to our clients. Thank you so much for that insight. So please, can we get some feedbacks from other units? Because I believe some of our people want to go and pray. It's already 1:15. Maybe just 2 minutes so that we can close. Let's say in the next 10 minutes. 2 minutes insight.
Okay, from the corporate communications department.
Okay.
I've actually learned that before, like we always do, we post out information and make people get awareness about our product and service. So we have the Twitter handle, we have the WhatsApp. We also have our in-house magazines that in our department. And
okay, great.
Producing a magazine now is a project management. Producing a magazine itself, it's a project.
God bless you. Fantastic.
Now I can, before going through that project, there are steps to take. You initiate, bring out the idea.
Good.
You expatiate on all those ideas, break it down into pieces before executing message to the public, just the way we do on our WhatsApp platforms. We make sure that it's a concrete message before putting it out to the public, so that we won't damage the image of the organization and all. It's a very good lecture. I enjoyed every bit of it. Thank you very much.
Hello? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I get the network went bad. We couldn't hear you for some time.
Yes. So sorry for that. Where the last statement I got was that you said you realized that the magazine production of the magazine is a project on its own, which is a very good insight. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Happy to hear that. So I believe the next edition of your magazine will be very rich and will go a long way in adding great value to NIPOS. Thank you so much for that. Thank you
Yes,
so
it will be
much.
very rich. Thank you, sir.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Can we get some feedback from other units as well? Do we have anybody from ICT? Okay, I think we've gotten somebody from, we had somebody from operation, or is it planning? Hello? Please, we need representative from other units. Please, it is very important. Please, we need representative from other units. We have Martin Omale here. We have Margaret. We have Daniel. We have Philip. We have Nasfar Sunny. We have Oluwatosin here. Please, can you say something on behalf of your unit before we round off? Hello?
Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
My name is Diwa Daniel from ENCS.
Okay, great.
Yeah, this training has really been insightful and thought-provoking. In our department, we are very conversant with some project management techniques before now, but this has really brought it home. So we are now more abreast with skills and know-how on how to carry on our own projects. We have different, we do construction projects in NCS, we do even maintaining vehicles, how to go about our day-to-day activities. We can break it down into projects and then itemize everything into individual projects. So it has really been helpful, and then take it back home and enlighten one or two of us able to be here, as well as use it in our day-to-day activities. We're really very grateful for this opportunity, and then I'm sure it will really go a long way in discharging our duties. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much for that. We are very grateful to hear that from you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, please, can we hear from other units as well, please? It is very important we hear from other units. Please help us ask other people from other units. We need your input. Hello? Hello? Please, we need the input from other units, please.
Let's know the unit has not spoken so that they will now know how to do it.
Hello. Hello.
Yes, I can hear you. We can hear you. Margaret, go ahead.
Okay. Financial Service Unit. I'm the compliance officer.
Oh, great.
What I learned in this project management is on control and monitoring. He taught
Great.
us that you have to monitor every item, every transfer, like in financial service, every details of every transfer, both international and within domestic has to be continuously monitored. As a project manager, you have to always monitor your products so that you can always know if there's any improvement or what you need to work on.
Great. Thank you so much for that. Monitoring is very, very important. Even especially your own unit, you know what is are we making progress, or what do we, okay, this week is our revenue going up? If you compare it to what you had in the last week, so that continual monitoring is very important. It's very important. Yes, thank you so much for that insight, ma. We are very grateful. It's a pleasure. Thanks. Okay, we've not heard from the people in ICT. Do we have any representative of the ICT people here? Do we have a representative of the ICT people here? Hello? Hello, do we have representative of ICT team here? What of Mr. Felix? He was on the call before, probably he stepped out. Okay, do we have any other units that has not been represented regarding this feedback? I don't think we've heard from planning. I'm sure you have planning, you have engineering. We've not heard from engineering, planning, and ICT. Oh, Madam Margaret, do you know anybody?
Daniel that spoke from engineering.
Oh, fantastic. Oh, okay, great. What of, I don't think we've heard from planning. I think you have planning units. I think with planning. Okay, can we hear from planning and ICT? And we round up the call. So while we are waiting for the people somebody from ICT and planning, just as the instructor told us, at the end of this program, I'm sure some of us, you receive email. Check your email that you gave to the HR, your email addresses. If you log in, search for Learner Care. I'm sure you must have received email that will provide your username and password that will enable you to log in into the LMS. So in the LMS, you will see some of the lesson notes there, and the email address that was shared by the instructor. You can send your assignment to that email address. He will review, and then there will be some assessment questions after you must have gone through the document provided by the instructor you will see those content in the LMS. Then you answer some few questions, and the system will make your digital certificates available. And I believe at the end of this, once you have completed the next stage of the class on the LMS, you will get your results, and that will be communicated to the management appropriately. So we are very grateful for having you for this 3-day training. I think at this juncture, we may just have to end the call so that we can allow our people that want to go for prayer. So once they,
Hello,
okay,
excuse me, sir, please. I
okay,
have an issue. I
okay.
did not receive an email on my
Oh,
mail. I didn't
okay,
receive,
please.
and my name is there. So I think there was a mistake in my email address. I've sent it to Mr. Abiola. I
Okay.
complained that I did not receive since we started the class. I've just been teaching it from the WhatsApp.
Oh, okay,
the
okay,
Zoom
okay, okay, no
meeting.
problem. Since you have made it
So I
available
sent my
to
email address.
okay,
Yes.
no problem. Since you have made it available to Mr. Abiola, it will definitely, you will get feedback from us. No
Okay,
problem.
thank you so much.
Yes. So which department are you? Which unit are you?
Operations.
Has somebody spoken on behalf of your department?
Yes, I think somebody did. I was, in fact, I'm on I just passed to, so I've just been listening to it while on transit. But
Oh,
somebody has
okay.
spoken. Larry spoke on
Oh,
operations.
okay, okay, great.
Yes, somebody has spoken on behalf of operations.
Okay, great, great,
Yes,
great.
somebody has spoken on behalf of operations.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's great.
Thank you.
But we don't have anybody from ICT. What happened? Okay, that's nice. It's a great pleasure to have this training with you people. We are grateful, and we believe you all will put into practice what you have learned. And as part of what we do in Router, we provide tech-based trainings. So for some of you that may be interested in further training, even in this product management and project management class, full training, you can reach out to us through the email address that we used to send you email. So you can reach out to us. There is also a phone number there, which you can also see. That's techtraining@router.com. So we also offer that training in the area of coding, that has to do with UI, UX, and other data analytics and other tech-related training. Even for the kids, we also do that. On weekly basis, we train nothing less than 1,000 adult kids, teens, virtually and physically on coding, robotics, and some other tech-based trainings. And we are also a software development companies as well. In case you have some applications to build website and the likes, feel free to reach out to us. And I believe you'll be seeing more of our activities with you people very soon. And once again, we are glad to be part of your journey by having this training with you all. Thank you so much, and pray God will continue to bless each and every one of you. Thank you so much.
Amen. Thank you,
All
sir.
right.
Thank you very much.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Cheers.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.
I'm saying, I'm so sorry. 3 days online.
Bye. Thank you so very much.
It comes from you. I'm so sorry. Yes, supposed to be 1 o'clock, but today is the last day, so we're asking questions. That time I needed to go and answer questions, but this generator comes. That's why I went to the other shop. I moved my tailors to another shop. I'm saying that this is where you had the
Then what you need to snatch back? Just like that.
I don't